This is a Porsche 918 Spyder, part of the holy trinity of hybrid hypercars that changed the world's perception of hybrid power nearly a decade ago. It is magnificent and highly exclusive. Only 918 were ever produced, and today they demand a price of around 2 million US dollars. But what many people, including myself, did not realize is that this isn't the only Porsche branded with the numbers 918. There's another. This. Now, at first glance, this is just a 997.2 911 Turbo S, but looks can be deceiving.
Now this isn't a 918 Spyder, that much is pretty obvious from first glance. And when I did see this car the first time, I kind of dismissed it as being just another 911. But at second glance, I noticed something interesting, but we'll get to that in just a second. Because mechanically, it actually is just like every other 997.2 911 Turbo S. So let me talk you through the brochure bits. Mounted in the rear is a 3.8 liter twin turbocharged flat 6. Produces 530 brake horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. Now, it being a Turbo S, drive goes to all four wheels via a double clutch automatic transmission. It's a 7-speed, the PDK system, which was actually debuted for this generation of the 911, the 997.2. All of that means that 0 to 60 is done with in 3.1 seconds. Now, even by today's standards, this is a very fast car. But I'm not here to tell you that it's a fast car. It's a 911 Turbo S. We all know that they're fast. I'm here to tell you why this car is just that little bit extra special, that unicorn that nobody really knows about. But to explain why it's so special, I have to stop talking about this and tell you a little story about the 918 Spyder.
The 918 Spyder was unveiled in 2013 at the Frankfurt Motor Show, but deposits were being accepted as early as 2011. First deliveries took place in December of 2013, which meant there was a minimum 2-year gap between the initial $200,000 down payment to order a 918 and the actual delivery some $645,000 later. So in all of that time, the Porsche exclusive clients needed something to drive. After all, they couldn't be seen going around town in any standard 911 Turbo S. That would be stupid.
Porsche's answer to this third world problem was to offer 918 buyers the option of selecting a 911 Turbo S made specifically as a sister car to their upcoming 918 Spyder. Now, while mechanically, as I said, they were identical to a standard Turbo S of that time period, aesthetically, they were unique. On the exterior, there was plenty of acid green accents. The brake calipers, the under portion of the side view mirrors, the model designation, edition 918 Spyder, and the S on the Turbo S badge on the back. There was also some added carbon fiber, which came as standard. Now, I'm not sure if you could option it out on other Turbo S's, but I know that for this one, it came as part of the package. So the upper portion of the side view mirrors, those are carbon fiber, as is this intake cover. Now, another interesting thing about this, I checked a bunch of other 997.2 Turbo S's, and I couldn't find any that had a side intake without the fin in the middle. This one's just one big gaping hole. I'm not sure if that was also an optional extra or if it just came on this car, but something that I noticed. And those accents carry over into the interior as well. In terms of carbon fiber, there's quite a lot to be had. The door sills, for example, are finished in carbon fiber. They're illuminated with the Turbo S badge finished in acid green. The casings around the door handle and window switches, the air vents all along the dash where the cup holders are, that's all carbon fiber, as is this little component on the PDK gear selector and the e-brake handle. All of the stitching on the interior is acid green, from the doors all the way across the dash, on the steering wheel, the 12 o'clock marker on the steering wheel, all of the tick marks and the model designation in the gauge cluster, and the tick marks and gauge needle on the Sport Chrono watch, all in acid green. The leather is the upgraded leather package that was available for the Turbo S. That's included as well, but the most important aspect in my mind on the interior is the plaque on the passenger side. It reads Edition 918 Spyder Limited Edition number 769, which means that this car is the sister 911 Turbo S to chassis number 769 of a 918 Spyder somewhere in the world, which is really cool. But the story gets a little bit more interesting, and I'll explain, but let's take it out for a drive. So I'm now sat firmly where the tuchus of a 918 owner was for about 20,000 miles. It's quite an honor. Now that hypercar, as the name suggests, was limited to 918 units worldwide. Now this being made as a sister companion to the 918 Spyder, Porsche claims that they're also only making 918 of these, or that they made 918 of these. But I found a source, much like what VinWiki did with the manual transmission Murcielago, that tried to track the VIN numbers of all the Edition 918 Spyder 911 Turbo S's. And they only found 146. Now this is just speculation. I'm not saying that there's only 146 out there. But if that is correct, and Porsche only made that many, that would catapult this car to be not only more rare than the 918 Spyder that spawned it, but make it one of the top 10 rarest 911 production road cars ever made. More rare, in fact, than the original 911 Sport Classic. Add into it this detail. This specific car that I'm driving is a model year 2013. Now the 997.2 generation, which is what this is, ended in 2012. 2013 was the 991.1. Now I've seen 918 edition 911s on the market, on Bring a Trailers, past sale lists that were model 2012s, which means that this specific car was made and released as a 997.2 when the .2 had already ended production and the .1 for the 991 had started. So whoever bought this car must have felt like they were getting cheated out, getting an older generation in the model year of a newer one. But hindsight is 2020, and as we look back now over a decade later at what the 997.2 became and how favored and desired it is today, it was kind of a blessing in disguise. Because, as I said, make no mistake, this is a fast car. By modern standards, by the standards of when it came out, it's a Turbo S. And at the end of the day, you're never going to be disappointed in a Turbo S. And being the last of the truly mechanical 911s just adds to the value, the desirability of this truly rare example of a Turbo S.
Weirdly, this car does not claim the pricing that you would expect for such a rare find. Even if all 918 were produced, it's a numbered Porsche, and in the world of cars, that means the price should get more eye-watering. Now, the original MSRP of the coupe was $160,700. The cabriolet was $172,100, basically the same numbers as a standard Turbo S from the time. Fast forward to today, on the used market, standard 911 Turbo S's of the same condition, same generation, and mileage are only about 25% less. But that may just be because nobody knows that this thing exists, which makes sense. The only people that would have been offered it were 918 owners, who for the most part are collectors. So if they did opt to buy one, they likely just kept the set together, so us mere mortals hardly ever saw them to be able to develop a desire for them.
This is actually really quite an interesting car, and I'm a bit embarrassed that I didn't even know that it existed up until very recently. So I'm pretty excited that I was able to get my hands on one. It's actually funny how it worked out, actually, because I found out about it, and then 3 or 4 days later, it happened to show up at the dealer, Porsche Ontario. So thank you to Porsche Ontario, not only for having it, but allowing me to be able to use it. They're a great dealership. I work with them all of the time. This car is actually currently available for sale, so if you're interested, I'll leave all the regular links in the description below, as well as the link to the posting for this actual car if you're in the market for one. But that's all for this video. Let me know your thoughts on the 918 Spyder Edition in the comment section down below. If you've ever come across or know somebody or happen to be the person that owns chassis number 769 of a 918 Spyder, and if you'd be open to me doing a review of your 918 Spyder, I think that'd be pretty cool if we could make that happen. But if not, c'est la vie. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and take care.